Hey Gatekeepers, welcome back to Weekly Soap Chronicles. Today is a recap of episodes 182 and 183. Let's get into it. So we start off at Orphagene's where apparently somebody peed in Tyrell's cornflakes because this boy woke up and chose pettiness. Now he taking little shots at June, upset at the fact that Samantha has ingratiated her and welcoming her into the fold, and I can't help it if I'm just not all about June and all that. Boy, bye. You know what I'm saying? Forget you and your attitude. But then it turns out that he is worried and concerned that Jessica will be going off to school in UCLA and he not. So, okay, boy, bye. Meanwhile, June is stressing about losing her job and with it, her medical benefits. She and Samantha have a grounded conversation about what it means to be unhoused and still trying to make responsible choices. It's not just about getting back on your feet, it's about survival. Do I buy food? Do I pay for meds? Do I keep this job no matter how bad it gets? Because losing it means losing access to care. You can see it hit Samantha hard, and off this conversation, she channels that pain into purpose and suggests that Martin spearhead a free community clinic. Of course, Martin is like, yeah, that sounds good, but it's easier said than done. Next up, we got Vernon and Martin talking about the upcoming midterms. Now, Martin's trying to sell his campaign pitch, and Vernon basically says, cool story, but you sound like every other politician ever. In other words, boring. Okay? And then Vernon proves he's low-key a budding social media star. He gets how to connect with people, how to be entertaining, how to be real online. Now, Martin, on the other hand, is like, yeah, but people care more about keeping the lights on than TikTok dances. And honestly, they both right, though. And then Martin tells Vernon that Joey tried to buy him off with a donation. And Martin said, no, you can keep your money. Vernon was like, okay, that was a good thing. But he admits he regrets ever bringing Joey into their orbit, which sets us up perfectly for the Joey-Vernon showdown later. Then we move on to Vanessa. She shows up at the casino and plants this aggressive kiss on Joey. And Joey is like, hey, okay, I like that, but where's all this coming from? And she said, well, you got up and left the house so early this morning. And Joey is like, well, I ain't really want the neighbors to see me leaving the widow's house all during the date. And Vanessa was like, I don't care what the neighbors say. I don't want easy, Joey. I want you. Okay? And Joey said, are you ready for your kids to know about us? So she is like, you know what? I am done hiding. I am tired of hiding the only honest thing in my life right now. The way she sees it, Joey is the one thing that actually feels real to her right now. But Joey said, you know what? For your sake, I'm going to say no. I'm not doing it. Underneath that romantic moment, Joey is terrified. It's not just about society's judgment. It's about their money laundering scheme being exposed if they're seen together publicly. Winterfest equals rich people plus cameras plus gossip, which equals disaster. So at the end of the conversation, Vanessa is pissed. And she is like, you know what? When you figure out what we are to each other, then you let me know. And as she was leaving, Vernon pops up. Oh, hey, Vernon. Surprised to see you here. And he basically saying the same thing to her. Yeah, I'm surprised to see you here too. So she plays it off. Yeah, well, I had some conversation I needed to have with my business partner here. And so he was like, okay then. And she leaves. Vernon says to Joey, stay away from Martin's campaign. And Joey, of course, doesn't take that line down because he points out that he and Vernon aren't all that different. They both bend rules, work in the shadows, use power in morally gray ways. And then he says, so Vernon, if you're going to look down on me, maybe don't look in the mirror while you do it. Now that's the kind of line you pause the TV for, okay? Meanwhile, Vanessa, nursing her heartbreak at the country club, asked Diego would he be her +1 for Winterfest, and Diego said, no. So she's been rejected by Joey and Diego. So this is the lowest we've seen her in a while, and it's setting her up to do something impulsive real soon. Mark my words. So then we move on to Shanice, who is already having a bad day dealing with a doctor that is stuck in 1985 and still dealing with paperwork. Ted comes by and they literally bump into each other. Papers go flying. They both bend down to pick up the papers and they hands touch. Ooh, so you can see a little spark there. So they get to talking about the doctor and how he is stuck in 1985. And Ted make a joke about, I thought I saw him the other day trying to fax a PDF. And he was standing there waiting on the confirmation page. So they both end up getting on the elevator, and the next thing you know, the elevator jolts and stops. So now they are trapped in the elevator together. At some point, Ted manages to call Eva to let him know he trapped in the elevator and to cancel upcoming appointments because, of course, he don't know how long he gonna be in there. So Ted and Shanice get to talking, and we learn that Shanice is the oldest of 5 siblings, and mom and dad are still together. She goes to church, and she has these superstitions. When Ted says something about being stuck, that jinxed them and made the elevator stuck. So the scene is basically a throwback to old school soap scenes where 2 characters are stuck together and forced to connect. No immediate kissing, no explosions, just talking, revealing layers. So what do y'all think about Ted and Shanice getting together? On the one hand, I'm kind of like, oh, that would be cute. But then on the other hand, Shanice is too close to Nicole. And so I don't think they should really be together. But it's a soap opera, so who knows? Y'all let me know what y'all think. So on the dating front, we go to Isaiah and Eva, where Isaiah suggests going back to his place. Okay. But Eva doesn't want to rush things, and instead of pouting or getting weird, he's totally fine with it. So he said he got something really nice planned for their second date, and he had mentioned something about a picnic, and she was like, a picnic? Outside in the cold? You gonna have to come up with something else, okay? But at the end of the day, I don't want you to break my heart, okay? Because the last situationship I was in, it did not turn out well, and I just ain't for it. So we gonna take this real slow. That's right, Eva. Protect your heart, girl. So we move on to Thursday, where we open up with Anita, who is over it when it comes to Leslie. She tells Elon she wants Leslie to either disappear or on a very short leash. No in between. She is willing to pay off-duty officers to act as extra security at Winterfest. And Elon suggests Marcel, who was more than happy to take the gig and, more importantly, the paycheck. So basically, Anita wants to make sure that Leslie stays away from Laura, okay? And don't be getting all up in her face. Or beyond Laura, just don't make a scene. So then we move on to Leslie and Peaches, where Leslie is trying to pump Peaches full of holiday cheer, but it's not working. Peaches is defeated. She doesn't think the clinical trial is worth it because in her mind, she getting ready to leave here no matter what. So of course, Leslie not ready to accept that. You know how when people say, I'm tired and I'm ready to go, and you like, I ain't trying to hear that. And Leslie is the same way with Peaches. So she talks to Peaches' doctor, and he suggests therapy, which Peaches doesn't want. She like, no, I don't want to be talking to no shrink. But it does plant a seed in Leslie's mind because she can't do this alone. Now, meanwhile, over in Nicole's world, she's in her office going over her speech for the Winterfest thing, and Carlton calls to cancel being her Winterfest date because he has a family emergency. Now, of course, she feeling like, well, dang, okay, now I gotta go to this Winterfest thing by myself. And how is that gonna look? Because, of course, Nicole is all about looks and perception. The other people are gonna be saying about me, oh, look at Nicole, she's all by herself. Girl, don't nobody care what other people think. Shoot. Anyway, Shanice pops in, hears that Nicole suddenly has no date, and immediately goes into matchmaking mode. She offers her a blind date for Winterfest. Nicole is hesitant, like, I don't know, girl. But Shanice is already scheming behind the scenes. Then Anita comes by full of cheer, and then she notices that Nicole was feeling a little down because Carlton canceled. And so she was like, yeah, but you guys were just friends, right? Oh, yeah, just friends. But like I said, Nicole is more about had looks as opposed to her feeling hurt that he canceled. Any rate, they talk about Anita's test results, and thankfully everything is okay, so no extra crisis there yet. So while they talking, next thing you know is pounding at the door, and it's Leslie. She begs Nicole to listen to her and help Peaches. She makes it clear, it has to be you. No one is better than you. Whatever you think of me, Peaches is good, and she deserves this. So, of course, they got Leslie going to the one person that she can go to for psychiatric help, okay? And that's Nicole. Nicole, of course, automatically, always, I got a list of other therapists that you could go to. You know what I mean? So, of course, Nicole agrees to do it and has to make it known that I'm not doing this for you, Leslie. I'm doing this for Peaches. And the look on Anita's face during all this, she does not want Nicole entangled with Leslie again. But this is one of those moments at the show where they show us Leslie can be a disaster and still be capable of genuine love and desperation when it comes to Peaches. Yeah, okay, y'all. Meanwhile, over at Uptown, we got Tomas and Kat, who are glowing from their getaway, just in their own little happy bubble. Ugh, I hate that, okay? But they having lunch with Chelsea and Madison is on a tear. Oh my gosh, if she can't stand Chelsea right now, ooh-wee. She is furious that Chelsea has sided with her mom, Willow, instead of backing her up. Now, Madison's mom is all about self-healing, and reasons why people are sick is because of their emotional makeup and stuff, and you can heal yourself with a positive attitude, and you don't need science and medicine to cure yourself. And of course, Madison, being a neurologist, is like, no, none of that is true. And she has been dealing with this for years. And Chelsea comes in 5 minutes ago, and she's siding with her mother and thinking that mama got a point. But Chelsea is like, well, dang, I don't see nothing wrong with it, you know? And she tries to pull Kat in it, and Kat, of course, is like, you know what? I gotta go. I don't have nothing to say about that. You on your own, sister cousin. And then Madison is like, you know what, Chelsea? You don't trust me. You don't have my back. I won't keep standing with you if you won't stand by me. It's messy, it's ugly, and it's exactly the kind of sibling-style friendship implosion soaps do so well. Now, over at Orphe Jeans, Samantha makes a phone call, but it's to Eva. Eva shows up, and Samantha don't beat around the bush. She was like, you know what? I need money. And so she was like, okay, how much you need, little niece? $20, $40? And she was like, no, how about thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands? And Eva gave her that look like, what? So Samantha shows her free clinic proposal, you know, on some index cards with some bullet points, and not all the bullet points, but just the initial ones. And Eva is impressed. And so she agrees to talk to Leslie about getting some funding. Okay, so they having a good little talk with each other, little giggly moment, auntie niece vibes, you know. I'm here to help you any kind of way you want, you know. And then walks Kat. Now, Gatekeepers, Kat has moved up on the annoying scale in my book. Okay? So, of course, she immediately launches into a tirade against Eva. What are you doing? Samantha, don't listen to her. She's just going to give you bad advice. Yada, 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 on and on and on. Eva, of course, is like, you know what? You don't even know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't. And then Eva was like, you know what? To Samantha, don't listen to her or whatever. I'm going to talk to my mother about what you got going on, your proposal. And then she just leaves. And then Kat tries to be all condescending towards Samantha. I'm just saying, you know, you listening to her, it's just a bad move, blah, blah, blah. And so Samantha was like, you called a word or two, and then you don't even know what you're talking about. Because what I was asking her about was trying to open up a free clinic for people that need health care, namely the unhoused. And then Sam says, you know what? You used to be my favorite aunt. When we first came into the family, you was there, you know, being by my side and being a loving aunt and showing me the way. And now all of a sudden, you just tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because initially you were all about family and being close, and that's your half sister. And so she was like, just because she's my half sister doesn't mean she's family. Girl, oh my gosh. You know, BTG has turned her into a character that nobody likes. And I don't know why they did that, because initially I did like Kat. Kat was like one of my favorites, and now she has fallen to the bottom of the list of likable characters on this soap. And I hate that. BTG, move on from this storyline, please. So at any rate, Peaches does talk to Nicole, and at the end of their conversation, Peaches agrees to the clinical trial. Later, Chelsea talks to Anita about the situation with her and Madison and trying to get her advice. And Anita, at the end of the day, lets her know that, Chelsea, you were wrong and you really should have followed Madison's advice. So she told her a story about when she first met Vernon's parents and family, and the situation, how that went. And at the bottom line, she shouldn't have been so nice to whoever Vernon's people were, mad against. I think it was his aunt. And she said at the end of the day, I ended up marrying Vernon, but I still don't know what the deal was between the two of them. You know what I'm saying? So she let Chelsea know that she was wrong for doing what she did with Madison and her mom. And finally, Nicole is heading out from the hospital, and Shanice tells her that, you know what, I know you was a little hesitant about the blind date thing, but I went on ahead and called Dr. Rollins anyway. And just so happens, Dr. Rollins steps off the elevator and Shanice says, "Hey, Dr. Rollins." And then she introduces them. "Dr. Rollins, this is Nicole Richardson," or whatever. Nicole turns around, looks, but we don't see who Dr. Rollins is. And that's how the episode ends. So, Gatekeepers, now I want to hear from you. Are you team Ted and Shanice? Was Joey right to refuse Vanessa's public Winterfest date? Do you think Nicole and Dr. Rollins have real potential? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You know I like to read them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of Beyond the Gates, hit that like button, subscribe to Weekly Soap Chronicles, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next recap. So until next time, Gatekeepers, keep your secrets safe, your receipts ready, and your elevators fully inspected.